Hey guys, here. So, today I want to talk about MUT 21 and was it a good content year? Because generally, we're kind of in peak of it. Maybe this is better for wrap up. I'm going to revisit this topic in 6 months' time as we're on the eve of the new Madden. Hopefully, maybe it comes in July. Maybe they keep it in August next year for 22. We'll see, of course. A lot of crazy things still to happen with, how they're working and stuff. But I want to go through and kind of review a little bit of it, give my thoughts right now on it, through like rerolls, cards, the entire mode, and kind of just generally think. Okay, so I think we want to do a little bit of a history lesson on MUT 21. So I went to the Wayback Machine, of course. Let me fix that for a second. Why I should have done the sponsorship. Rock Bottom Coins is the #1 place to get your Madden 21 coins. If you make coins for my videos, sell them to Rock Bottom. If you're buying, use my code GUTBOX for 15% off. Well, I was getting that Wayback Machine set up. So, anyways, let's look back at the start of the year. So the game officially launched on the 28th. Of course, we all got our hands on it in this area about the 20th, 21st, because we did have the EA access. So we can go ahead and take a look at some screenshots of it, of the MUT sub back then. They did like no money spent guys. So this wasn't really like anything, too crazy talking about. So we'll give it like a week. We'll take a look at the 1st of September. So the game was out for a little bit. And I know at this point we were kind of raging, right? About no weekly content. Let me fix my green screen here for a second. So like it was September 1st. And by this time, like all right, we're through the game. I think a lot of EA's problems has to do with the fact that they do launch it early for so many of us for EA access. Basically, the entire player base that wants to play $5 gets, 10 hours for free. You don't even need the game at that point. Don't even need to buy it for those 10 hours. And then, so September 1st, that's only 3 days after the game launches. Why are people writing about weekly content? Because we didn't get one. And we're kind of like, well, you know what? I kind of want to improve my squad. I got a lot of these base elites, but, I want more heavyweights, flashbacks, signatures, something to replace them. So the sub was getting a little antsy, right? Where's our content? What's going on? It's been 10 days since the game launched, and we've had it in our hands. Our lineup's kind of here, then now where do we go, right? Because MUT is all about the grind, the ever grind, the continually improving your team is kind of like the experience as we level up and go. So we were very angry through the early September. It might be better, we could keep looking at the Wayback Machine for MUT, but I kind of want to go through some of my videos so it's a little bit more organized. And then this is kind of like everybody plays the same way. You kind of get that. Madden Ultimate Team, Madden doesn't change. Remember when we had a mobile quarterback dominating the game? Lamar Jackson just straight up faster than everybody on the field. That was kind of wild. But then we, moved on. Maybe, we'll do the 10th. See what's on top of the subreddit then with the Wayback Machine. And, just kind of more angering about fullback, head-to-head, that kind of stuff. But if we do look back through the history lesson onto this, it seems a little bit more easier to do this stuff. We had the Superstar promo part 2 come out the 3rd. So the Superstar promo was out in August, which is kind of wild because, it's starting the game up. They launched a promo. No weekly content happened. So okay, we got a promo. But where's the content? Where's the content? We got Superstar part 2, the 3rd. Maybe I can move my head in the middle so you guys can see the dates on these things, like a good YouTuber would. Then we ended up getting Ultimate Kickoff on the 7th. So it was only a few days before we started to get more content. Ultimate Kickoff coming tomorrow. The Ultimate Kickoff is coming the 9th. So it was a few more days than that to go new. Sorry, I'm going to get into the analysis soon. I just kind of want to go through the history lesson first. With the Ultimate promo, we got the 50 coming to MUT. I put out that September 10th, but we didn't really get it for a little bit. Team of the Week started coming here September 15th, so it was a few weeks. September 16th, where we finally got our heavyweights in the game. And it was kind of a slow start to the MUT, and there's a lot of frustrated people because it was so bad. Now, when you look at cards now, there's so many different varieties in my lineup, so many different guys in my offense, defense. A lot of them are littered with the 50 cards because, the top legends of the game. I thought the 50 program was a huge L this year. Because they had Lyman and the most iconic Madden players all time, and they weren't even close to the most iconic Madden players all time. Some of them surely will, but other choices were just wild. So the 50 is a major step down from MUT 10, but overall, okay, the last week alone, if we just look at the last week, there's been about 50, right? 50 new 95 overalls. And I know people are complaining about the playoff content because the playoff content didn't have the lower end cards. But I mean, when you look at this, like, it doesn't really matter. Like, would those lower end cards really start for a lot of teams? Yeah, a couple theme teams might get those 93s on them, but any lower than that, and you're way behind the meta. So I actually am missing them less than I thought I would for my Steelers theme team. I can kind of show you that in a second. But like, so bringing back Campus Heroes to go along with that this past week, that was a major W, right? We had 2 Campus Hero drops of cards that like whoa, they brought Tim Tebow. We didn't think we'd get Tim Tebow because he's currently playing Major League Baseball, right? So he came in. Jack Hams came back, even though we can argue about his, you know, stats and how bad he was. It's still kind of cool to see him back. So I think the focus around theme teams was a great job this year by the MUT squad. And the theme teams themselves, I think they need to get rid of sprinter and ability chems next year, or physical chems next year, and then maybe go back to +3 speed on the theme teams to really kind of push it home. Hey man, we really want you to be doing this, so that way we can diversify our cards more and our lineups more rather than just have the same few cards over and over again. Every lineup has, you know, Randy Moss in it. The traditional Michael Vick. You don't see Michael Vick much anymore because it's been a gunslinger year until they nerfed the AP on that. I still think it's a gunslinger year. And it's still like the one ability you really want on offense. But let's talk about like some of the things they need going forward. Over 100 stats is obviously the key to this game's future. Now, when I say I'm going to check up on this thing in 6 months, if they don't bring out any content the last few months of the game again, and I think that's why people were so frustrated early on, is because Madden 20 died with a whimper. There was almost nothing brought out those last few months of the game, and people were like, wow, this is boring. Right? That grind, that ever quest for new cards to try them out, to keep filling out our theme teams, it died. And with that, the game mode, the love for the game mode. So early on, we're like, oh, well, it's only a couple weeks till we really got into the cadence of things. Yeah, it felt like a long time because we had gone months with nothing. And then the new game came out and there was eternal hope. There's always hope, right? That new is going to be better. And when new was the same, with the same slow drip of content, a promo there early on, but then like, we didn't really get anything for a couple weeks, it obviously made people very frustrated. So I think since about the Halloween promo, right when we always think, you know, MUT really kicks it into high gear, ever since the Halloween promo, I think MUT has been doing a great job with content. It was, you know, we had very angry player bases early on, a lot of people losing interest, you know, with a lot of other games coming out around that time. It's in the archive right now. But ever since Most Feared, it's been on a hot streak, right? I think the winter promo was great. I know people have some problems with it. Obviously, there's always the EA errors with, you know, everything in the game. And we always, you know, call them out and say, hey, can you please fix that? Sometimes they do. Sometimes it's an ongoing error. Like, where are live playbooks, right? Why are the playbooks that we're using now the same ones that the game launched with? Where is the color rush uniforms? Where's the throwback uniforms? They said they were testing throwback uniforms like 2 months ago, remember? And they're like, yeah, we got to test to make sure they work in the game. And, you know, where are they? Why aren't they on this friggin' thing? We got SpongeBob in the yard, but no alternate uniforms. We got alternate offensive playbooks, but where's the live playbooks, right? These things took a little bit to come in the game, but where are the live? Donde? Okay? So, like, there are frustrations in the game mode still. Don't get me wrong. House rules, I think, need to be more frequent. I think house rules, the quality of them have been very high. I think this year's house rules is like the highest, like, individual quality. Like, per house rules, quality level is higher than ever before. But we just don't give enough, right? Like, we've had good house rules in the past. Just repeat them, right? You can recycle house rules every few months. And I'm not going to bicker about it, right? Just not like every 2 weeks have another one that's boring, right? Every couple months, okay, I'll take a recycle. Where's our... You know, franchise now has the, you know, restricting play call. Why haven't we got a house rules with restricting play call like we did last year? Why haven't we seen a lot of the others? Why don't we see lineup restriction house rules, right? Where's our 50 out of 50 theme team house rules? So there's a lot of things they can do, and I really hope they do here in the second half of the year to kind of keep it changed up. Maybe they do some more stuff like that for more rewards too. So rookie premieres, and that's a big problem too. Like, what's going on with the rookie premiere program? I'll show you the rookie premiere program on MUThead. Like, the highest one we're getting is a 92 overall. Like, almost none of these things really did very good for cards. Why aren't these things higher overall? Now I know the offseason can bring some changes, but like, these things are dead after February, right? They don't upgrade. It says through February right there. We've got a month and change. It says through February. You know, almost 2 months, month and a half to 2 months for these things to start upgrading. So everybody who's spent their coins, they're just, you know, not doing anything on Akuda. I don't know why Chase Young's the highest at 92, but Why isn't Queen higher? But Rook of Mirrors definitely need an upgrade here. EA's definitely showing their hand with not upgrading Rook of Mirrors, them being cheap for us to get like good top end cards for a lineup for what we paid for last year. But it's basically a coin sink to not get people to buy or sell coins, which you could do on rock bottom #ad. So that's been a frustrating thing. The fact that they don't care about things we put in last year. So, abilities. And we're seeing 98 overalls now are going to have 4 abilities on them. I think they're going to do what they did last year. Hopefully do something similar with golden tickets this year to make those things relevant. And they can change up some of the ability things later on in the year. Increase the AP was a great move because that brings a little bit of freshness to the game. It's testing out the new AP and the best balance for them. So I think if you continue with that, continue bringing in new abilities. You don't necessarily need to go over 100 this year, but please make it a thing next year. You could also, like I've been suggesting for years, use your entire rating scale. Right? That the entire game is rated 50 to 100 is where all your ratings are. And everybody starts off with high 80 speeds for the top cars in the game. You can go lower, right? If you want to improve it, you don't have to start at 90 speed at the start of the game because then you only have 9 digits to go from 90 to 99. And then right now, basically, unless you're running a theme team with slow receivers, Hines Ward himself is at 98 and the game's only halfway done. So, I'm missing the defensive tackle, but that'd be boosted up to 98 overall with the +1 to the 50 out of 50 theme team. So it's frustrating that we're seeing the end of content. We don't really see a whole lot of EA signaling what they can do outside of what we're going to see the same thing as last year. So I do feel like the game will end. And is that a problem that the game ends in March? I mean, it's a little annoying that it's done before the draft when we used to have such good summer promos the 4th of July. And I know EA is always trying to squeeze more blood out of the orange to get more money out of us, but it's a lot of those things that they do, those cheap things that they do that kind of piss us off, right? When we boot up our game, the game now starts over the store instead of out of the left hand side. So you tell their money's all the focus is all about MUT. It's just so transparent and disgusting. But they could just make more content, right? It's not that hard to get more money from us that way. So it is annoying, very annoying that there's easily things they can do that the consumers want that can drive money to them, but they don't decide to do, which is content during the summer. So next year, hopefully they can, test out the game, make sure things work over 100. We've seen stats over 100. I did a video on stats over 100. We've seen them in the game already. When they did the Gandhi glitch and the things went under 0 and it boosted back up to 255. We saw it in game. It was actually 112 or something that it was actually maxed out at. But anyways, I don't know. Overall though, content, great. Card stats, Taylor Mays should never have that high a zone. Ever, right? Card stats themselves. And talk about the rating scale. Sorry, I was a little wonky brained right there. It kind of went from topic to topic. But Taylor Mays when he came out in the 50, right? There is no way his zone should be 88. Obviously, you can boost that up to 93 with the zone with the lockdown tier. The highest tier was at 92. I don't remember. Regardless, Taylor Mays covered like Ed Reed when he came out. And over 90 zone will still cover like that. And it's frustrating to see that they don't understand. These players aren't just a player model and stats on them. We want them to be individuals, how they actually played when they played in Madden. Right? If Taylor Mays comes to the game, it's not a bad thing to make him a low-end card with high physical stats. We're still going to use him, right? If Dree Archer comes back into the game as a silver card, but he has the same stats that he launched with when he came in Madden 16, when he's either his most feared or his base card, I don't mind that at all. That's cool. Launch it like that. That's kind of unique flavor of how they used to be. That's the throwback that they should have done. They should have given us their overalls at that range, right? Dree Archer would be cool to come later in the year and we could pull them out of Gap packs, right? That's just cool flavor. But EA just seems to kind of give these guys stats and they don't seem to really individualize them very much. And I think that's a major frustration with content in this game. It's one of the reasons why I think they got to go to the 0 to 100 scale. Right, his zone coverage should not be 88. If it was 0 to 100, his zone coverage would be 50. But they gave him 88 because everybody's kind of around that range. Let's just give it to him. So I really hope there's a large rethinking of that going forward. But overall, the quantity of content, the rerolls have been very, I'd say, boring. And sets have been, there's been ways of making coins, but they haven't really been cool like they used to. Maybe that's because we used to make a ton of coins off loopholes, but they've been very careful. Very, very careful this year for loopholes, and any ones that we found literally would patch within 20 minutes of finding them. So it's unfortunate. EA is very locked down on the casino this year, and they don't really let us give away with a lot of stuff. But you know, we're gonna try and beat them. We're gonna still try and beat them. I mean, most of our good stuff happens later in the year, but man, it's been rough. The winter promo was rough for loopholes. There's been a lot of methods, a lot of stuff we worked with the market to make coins, but loopholes have been few and far between this year, and kind of hate it because it was kind of fun to have them. So there you go. My thoughts overall: content, a slow start, but a solid middle so far. So right now, I feel like even with all those negatives, with what I talked about cards and what we can see like barreling down the tracks at us is the same offseason we had the last 3 years. Right now, based off what has been in game and not projecting forward, MUT content has been an A this year. 100% an A. Right? Theme teams viable across the board. Like I said, the issue is looking forward. But in the past, looking at our experiences so far, it's been great. It has been great. And I think they've done a good job from Legends. And maybe they haven't changed things up enough. Maybe they haven't innovated enough. But, you know, they had to launch a new game. And, you know, you gotta you know, give them time and credit for that. So, overall, good job, MUT. Gameplay, we're not talking about you. MUT, gameplay, MUT. Anyways, bring live playbooks in, please. See ya. What do you guys think in the comments? Let me know. If you liked the video, thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. And I'll see you tomorrow. Let me know in the comments.